Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick recap of the divisional championship games. And so these were actually more exciting games than the wild card weekend. Let's recap of all the games and then the next week's matchup and the prediction I have. Um, Pretty much, I had actually two matchups today. Pretty much, I was right on Saturday's prediction, but wrong for Sunday's. We had first Bengals and Titans kicked it off. Bengals pulled that upset with the field goal. I wasn't surprised that they pulled it off. A lot of people had that. I guess you would say they were one of the most disrespected number one seed ever, or one of the top number one seeds, not respected or really favorite by the public. But yeah, they lost. Obviously, the Titans didn't look like the Titans of old. Ryan Tannehill played awful. Um, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and the Bengals are slowly building something nice, I think, and could be around for a while too. That way, so it was so great that I actually sold this card too. So I've actually sold all my Joe Burrows and Jamar Chase within last 2 3 weeks. So I thought that was a very amazing thing. Um, so I think a lot of the um, public loves the Bengals right now. If my Niners weren't in it, I would out of all four teams, that's the team I would like to root for, next to the Niners, to be honest. So, and I'll explain too my logic and thinking. Like I said, I like to root for certain teams or new teams that haven't been there or made it or feel good story in that sense. So, and if they're not the Niners rivalry or anything like that, but back then the Bengals were good and they faced the Niners in the Super Bowl. So that's one thing. So that kicked it off for a wild weekend where the road team won. So that was the first upset. Then you had the Niners um, with the long shot because it was a cold weather game. Uh, the Packers scored in the first possession, so it's like, wow, if they keep this up, it's going to be a long day for the Niners. And I thought that the Niners dropped too many passes early on too. Even Jimmy G had some nice passes that the receivers were dropping. Um, but as time went on, I thought he threw some risky passes to the flat where they could have been pick six. I don't know if it was due to Cole because of the like he can't grip the ball or with his shoulder. But special teams definitely showed up on defense. So that's where I think um, it was amazing to see the Niners pulled it off. You probably saw my short video on that quick reaction. Um, and especially, like I said, it kind of reminded me of the 90s with Brett Favre, where the Niners had to go through usually two teams, always seemed like the Packers and the Cowboys. So it was fun to kind of relive those and have those rivalries. But it's been kind of one sided. Obviously, it's been documented that Aaron Rodgers had his struggles with the Niners, and that's where I hope the Rams are going to struggle with the Niners in that sense. But this was one. I don't know. I haven't heard the stat, but it sounds like this was the first time that two number one seats fall on the same day of the playoffs. So that was a stunner. I think a lot of people were surprised. Like I said, I was really stunned too at one point because it was really hard to see how we were going to score in that weather until that special teams. It kind of gave Jimmy G enough where he just had to get a pass, and Debo Sanders had to um, uh, Samuel, sorry, Debo Samuel had to get that 7 yards first down, and so a lot of the players were cramping up, look hurt too. So hopefully they're going to be healthy to be able to play their type of style against the Rams. Um, and that's where the next day, today's games kind of comes into play, where it looked like the Rams were very dominant. And I know I want the Rams because we've beaten them six straight. But the way they looked and how hard it is to beat a single team so many times, I mean, I know that's one of the things. Something had to give. Just great example. The Packers were 8-0 going into the season as home field, and then also the other thing that was a crazy stat was Aaron Rodgers was 0-3 against the Niners. So something had to give in that sense. Uh, and that's where I'm a little now worried with the Rams, but we're gonna have to trust that we're gonna have a lot of fans at SoFi for that game. I even started looking for tickets, so hopefully I can find some tickets that's reasonable. I doubt it, but we'll see how much of the Niners faithful is going to go down there. Like I said, I have met so many fans here in Las Vegas that are Niners fans too. So I wouldn't be surprised if they traveled there, or you have Niners fans that live in Los Angeles, or even from the Bay Area that would travel down there. So it's within distance. So we're going to see how much Rams fans are going to turn out and support their team for a big game. So I really thought that they were going to give up the game because they had four turnovers in that game, and you felt like Tom Brady was going to pull it through, especially when it's tight. But Cooper Cup, wow, and you know that like those two have something special, especially with their first season together. It's even if they don't win it this year, it's something that you have to keep an eye out. Like that if they continue that path, they should be contenders in that sense too. Then you got so it could be Tom Brady's last game, but you know what? I feel like he could come back. I've heard rumors he wants to play until the age of 50 to do the impossible, and for him, I don't know if that felt like a bitter sweet how it could end, but I do feel like it was kind of odd because I thought for some reason like he wasn't going to go out to the middle of the field and really shake and congratulate uh, anyone on the Rams side. So, and this is the second time that Tom Brady lost to the Rams this season. So some things have held up. So like teams that match up and struggles with certain teams looks like have not figured it out. So that's what I'm hoping for the Niners. Um, Then the last recap of the game tonight was the Bills and Chiefs. That last 2 minutes was crazy. I think they said it was a new record, especially with overtime to score 25 points within that time was a new record. Uh, I thought like, oh gosh, Josh Allen and the Bills going to the next round. Oh gosh, I can't believe the Chiefs like you knew these two quarterbacks are special, especially the way they play. Gabriel Davis had a night of his life. Wow. Uh, so I think that could be the new Manning and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. That's one of the matchups you want to see year after year. I feel like that could be a great one too. Depends how I feel like Joe Burrow with the next matchup could be, or Justin Herbert. I feel like there's so many great quarterbacks in the AFC. I just don't know. Like people talking about Aaron Rodgers leaving to maybe go to the Denver Broncos or the Pittsburgh Steelers or maybe even Cleveland Browns. So I know because the Packers would probably prefer to trade him in the AFC. But if that's the only way they're going to want to get rid of you or trade you, and you have to go to the AFC, I feel like that's more brutal. I know you have heartbreaker, but it's not like you always have to draw the Niners or like last year you drew Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, but it's not like yeah, it's just one of those things that I feel like your path is going to be easier to get to the Super Bowl in the NFC right now because you got a lot of young quarterbacks coming up. I feel like I could see that's going to be something special on that side. Because look at the Niners. That's why they're trying to get someone special like Trey Lance, because they're hoping that he could be like a Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or someone that could be MVP caliber. That's not like Jimmy G. That I mean, you could see how he almost cost the game for against the Packers and the Cowboys. So that's another story right now. Like I said, with all the teams that have high octane offense, or better, I feel like that has pretty good offense, better than the Niners. But we have to be kind of creative and work with what limits we have with Jimmy G. Um, so especially, I do believe we do have one of the best defense left. So yeah, because like I said, I like what Cincinnati is building with their offense. I like obviously Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because 4 AFC Championship games straight now. So they could be 3 times appearance to the Super Bowl. I feel like they could be the next Patriots dynasty right there. Then you have the Rams that have really a great wide receiver crop. I like Jefferson. Then you also have Cooper Cup, Odell Beckham Jr. He looks rejuvenated after leaving Cleveland. Higby. So that's a pretty good group. I think one of their weakness. I mean, Cam Akers is all right. Um, so overall, like I said, I think that Chiefs and Bills, that was a great way. I don't like the overtime. I prefer college overtime where both sides have a chance. And that's like you saw the last 2 minutes. That could have gone even more, like back and forth to score touchdowns back and forth, or if kick field goals, like to be able to match the production would have been unbelievable. But just to see that heartbreak, and like I said, I'm not a Bills fan, but like a football fan, it just didn't feel satisfying for overtime because yeah, we know the rules. First one that scores a touchdown, it's over, or whoever kicks a field goal, and then the other team has a chance to kick a field goal. But you have two really great quarterbacks in offense that could have gone back and forth. I'd rather see that, to be honest, for overtime. And the other thing I was thinking, like, well, what happens if both of them were tied somehow? They would have had to go on second overtime or something. That would have been unbelievable too, which is pretty rare um, for a playoff game. So, looking forward next week, CBS is going to have 12:05 kickoff, and I think Eastern that's 3:05, and then I believe so that's going to be the Bengals and the Chiefs. Right now, the Chiefs are 7.5 points favorite according to Vegas lines, and I think Bengals are plus 285 money line. So, if what that kind of means is that if you bet $100, you can win $185 from Vegas for that to double. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. That means they are the biggest underdog that's going to next weekend. I don't know after that performance going to the Bengals, but they did earlier match with the Chiefs. I can't remember if they won or not, but I do remember it was a close match. The Chiefs had trouble keeping up with Jamar Chase. So we're going to see. I mean, I think the Bengals have really good wide receiver core too. So we'll see how banged up also Joe Burrow. I think it's going to be a closer matchup. I want 7 points, 7.5 points is a lot. I feel like you can even take if you don't know if the Bengals are going to win. I feel like you could take the points because I think it's going to be a closer game. I feel like it could be 3 or 4 points. I don't feel like it's a full touchdown there. Uh, so who? Honestly, I will. Like I said, I wrote on my Facebook that I will for the Niners to win the Super Bowl. I would have to be able to see the Bengals win it because I think they could match up with the Bengals better than the Chiefs. Because obviously the Niners have been on the wrong end against the Chiefs. But I've seen some Niners fans that would love to get that revenge game against Patrick Mahomes. So obviously, as long as the Niners could be healthy, I feel and compete, I think they give any team that's left fear. And so we'll see. Because yeah, I don't think the only team because they beat the Bengals this year, they beat the Rams, but they have not beaten the Chiefs. So I would love to see the Bengals win it, but after tonight's performance, I feel like the Chiefs could. But I'm going to go and I'm going to try go with the underdog because, like I said, it could be a dynasty if Patrick Mahomes do make it. I'm going to say I want to see the Bengals versus the Niners. Like I said, I think the Niners have a great shot at making it. They are the underdog again. So Vegas is not liking the Niners at all, I guess. But they are underdogs 3.5 and then plus 150. So with those odds, it's like I'm probably gonna want to take the Niners again. But with the odds, like I said, it's really hard to beat the same team so many times, and I feel like that could be a tough time if the Niners can't show up, especially that last hard fought game. Von Miller starting to play very well, and Odell Beckham Jr. So, and Matthew Stafford, besides today's game, like I said, he pulled off. You know how dangerous they could be with Cooper Cup because you saw that last, um, less than a minute where the Rams had their opportunity to win it that way with Cooper Cup. So, uh, my pick for next week is going to be Bengals versus the Niners. I feel like it's kind of weird, but maybe a weird destiny because, like I said, they've had to go through the Cowboys. They've had to go through um, the Packers, which teams that they used to have to get through to get to the Super Bowl um, in the '90s. And then I feel like we're playing a team again if the Bengals do make it in the '80s. So let me know what you guys think. I might be crazy. Maybe I'm choosing with my heart at this point, not with my head on this. But like I said, I don't have any way of thinking that there's really no evidence that I could see how the Bengals could pull it off. I mean, like I said, I could see with the Titans at the time, with the Bengals, how they had these matchups. It's just going to be hard to imagine how they're going to put up so many points or their defense has to play so well against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I thought the Bills and the Chiefs was more of the AFC Championship in that sense, but Joe Burrow could maybe prove me wrong and make it. And like I said, I think the Niners have a great chance as long as they're really healthy after what they had to go through against the Packers. And hopefully the injury report is not too extensive. I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of them is probably going to get another day or two before their walkthrough. Luckily, the travel from San Francisco to Los Angeles is not too bad. So let me know who would you like to see in the Super Bowl or who you have in your picks. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Niners versus the Chiefs either. So, but like I said, I would prefer the Bengals. That would be easier matchup. And like I said, this would be the easiest way or the path that I saw the Niners if they were able to be healthy and execute. Like I said, I thought they could beat the Cowboys, which they did. I thought they could beat the Packers, which they did. I thought they could beat the Rams, which we'll see if they can make it 7 straight. And then if the Bengals make it, I feel like they could beat them too. So we'll go ahead and see how things turn out next Sunday. I know this video was a little bit longer, but it's more of a recap. There was a lot happening, a lot of close, good games. The NFL future is pretty bright. I wouldn't be surprised the ratings are pretty high too. And I'm looking forward to next week's NFC and AFC Championship games. Hopefully, it lives up to the hype of this past weekend. I thought all 4 road teams could pull something that was impossible because it's never happened where all 4 road teams could have won all the games and all the home teams were puzzled where there was really no home field advantage in that sense. Which, like I said, it's been a crazy year because most of the road teams won the games. So go ahead and hit that like button if you liked the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. And together we can build a better tomorrow. Thanks again.